Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm doing another video, and today I'm reading about Captain Underpants and the Big Bad Battle of the BIONIC Booger Boy Part 1. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Today we're going to start on Chapter 15, The New Melvin. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Also, make sure you smash the subscribe button, smash the like button, smash the notification bell. Check out my Instagram, MarkBrandTV, no spaces, no capital letters, and let's get right into it. Chapter 15, The New Melvin. You might think that that turning into a bionic booger boy was the worst thing that could ever happen to a kid, but it actually wasn't all that bad. Believe it or not, there was actually a positive side to being a lumbering loogie lad. For instance, Melvin now won every football game he played because no one wanted to tackle him. And when he served as volleyball, no one on the other team would dare to hit the ball back. Besides being the school's new sports star, there were no other perks too. Melvin never had to wait in line at the drinking fountain anymore. Now he had his own personal drinking fountain because, well, would you use a drinking fountain after a bionic booger boy had globbered all over it? I didn't think so. All of the special attention that Melvin was receiving made some of the other kids a little jealous, but not George and Harold. Considering the many evil villains that George and Harold had been battling all year, the two boys were just grateful that Melvin hadn't turned himself into a gigantic, terrible beast with plans to destroy the earth. It could be a lot worse, said Harold. At least Melvin's not a terrifying evil villain. Yeah, you're right, said George. I can't think of anything that can turn Melvin into a terrifying evil villain. Chapter 16, The Cold and Flu Season. Soon it was autumn, and the new season brought with many changes: crisp, chilly air, at early morning frost, and bright, colorful leaves. But with the beauty of the autumn came another change that wasn't quite so welcome: the cold and flu season. Although Jerome Portswood Elementary School people were getting sick, the hallways were filled with runny noses, sneezing mouths, and aching bodies. Sniff, achoo, sniff, sniff, sniff. Achoo! And unfortunately, one of those noses, mouths, and bodies belonged to Melvin Sneedley. Every time Melvin sneezed, thousands of tiny driplets shot out of his mouth, splattering the chalkboard with a thin layer of foamy, glistening, gunky green tapioca-like mucus. Don't forget to cover your mouth, Melvin dear, said Miss Ribble. Oh, sorry, said Melvin. He put his hand over his mouth and sneezed again. This time, the explosion of air from his stifled sneeze blew off large, wet globs of his body, which sprayed over the entire classroom, as if somebody set off a giant firecracker inside a bucket of green paint. The warm, smelly goo smacked onto people's hair, splattering onto their clothes, and seemed to drench every square inch of the room. On second thought, Melvin, said Miss Ribble, don't cover your mouth next time. Now, who wants a cookie? Chapter 17, The Field Trip. The next day, for some strange reason, Miss Ribble was out sick with a cold. Mr. Krupp was filling in as the substitute teacher, and as usual, he was very angry. What the heck is going on in this room? He yelled. What's with all the raincoats and umbrellas? Then Melvin sneezed. A few moments later, Mr. Krupp returned to the classroom with fresh clothes, a raincoat, and an umbrella. All right, everybody, he shouted. Today is field trip day. Miss Anthrop and I are taking you all to Snotty Graw's tissue factory to see how blue rags are made. The word tissue made Melvin jump. No, he cried in a panic. Me no like tissues. An eerie silence fell over the classroom. Everybody looked at Melvin in shock. Did Melvin just say, me no like tissues? Said Harold. Yeah, said George. I never heard him misuse an objective pronoun before. Who does he think he is, Frankenstein? Chapter 18, 18. Things get bad. In a few hours, the fourth graders were all packed into a hot, stinky factory listening to a boring speech about how trees are turned into tissues, or something like that. Melvin was paying attention really except for nobody was paying attention really except for Melvin Sneevely, who was terrified. His whole body shook and shimmered as the tour took them down to narrow walkways of the noisy industrial plant. Danger. Boring tour ahead. Snooty Brothers, a division of Snotco. Finally, the tour ended at the gift shop where the plant manager, Mr. Snotty, had a surprise for everybody. Behind the spread curtain with black dots on it, said Mr. Snotty, is a free gift for each of you. Mr. Snotty pulled back the curtain to reveal a pile of sample tissue packs. Help yourself, said Mr. Snotty. There's enough for everybody. No, screamed Melvin. Me no like tissues. Oh, don't be silly, said Mr. Snotty. Everyone loves tissues, and our tissues are extra absorbent. They really help to wipe out plague and mucus. No, screamed Melvin again. Tissues is bad magic. Nonsense, laughed Mr. Snotty. He tossed a couple of sample tissue packs at Melvin. Here you go, young man, he said. Enjoy. The tissue packs flipped through the air and stuck to Melvin's back. Melvin screamed. His eyes began to glow green as he beat his chest in anger. Suddenly, Melvin's shoulders started to bubble. His chest expanded. The flexogramonic steel in Melvin's exoskeleton flexed and grew. His neck and head widened, and his body swelled to a height of 13 feet. Melvin grabbed the tissue packs in his massive, dripping fingers and flung them to the ground. Don't make me angry, Melvin warned. You no like me when I angry. Oops, said Mr. Snotty. You dropped your tissue packs, young fellow. Here's some more for you. Mr. Snotty grabbed two giant handfuls of sample tissue packs and tossed them at Melvin. Chapter 19. Things get badder. Frankly, Melvin swatted at the 9 new tissue packs stuck at his upper torso as they were a swarm of sticking bumblebees. He stomped his giant spiked feet and thrashed about violently as his hulking body doubled, then tripled in size. Melvin kicked and punched the walls of the gift shop as he let out a terrifying, blood-curdling cry. There's no need to cry, little man, said Mr. Snotty. Here, have some more tissues to dry those tears. He tossed several more sample tissue packs at Melvin. As you might have noticed by now, Mr. Snotty wasn't exactly the brightest bulb on the Hanukkah tree. What happened next could be described as chaos. Once again, Melvin's massive body tripled in size. By now, Melvin was roaring and kicking and knocking over giant machines. Children screamed and ran. Mr. Snotty thought it might help matters if he could just give Melvin some more tissues, but before he could, a drop of mucus the size of a bathtub dripped from Melvin's massive nose and splashed down on Mr. Snotty, gluing him to the floor. Splat! George and Harold hid behind the red curtain with black dots on it as Melvin crashed through the roof of the factory. Ear-piercing roars bellowed out of his gigantic, oozing mouth as he kicked down the walls of the factory and tossed heavy machinery into the parking lot. Mr. Krupp and Miss Anthrope tried their best to get the situation under control, but they weren't having much luck. Hey, Bob, shouted Mr. Krupp. I've had just about enough with your shenanigans. You're going to be spending this afternoon in detention if you won't settle down, young man, shouted Miss Anthrope. Suddenly, Melvin reached down and grabbed Miss Anthrope in his massive metal fist. Help me, she screamed. Somebody save me. Said Mr. Krupp nervously. I'll go get some help. Mr. Krupp ran and hid with George and Harold behind the red curtain with black dots on it. "Hey, I thought you were going to go get some help," said Harold. "Well, not today," said Mr. Krupp. "You know," said George, "there's only one person who can help Misanthrope now. Who's that?" asked Mr. Krupp. Chapter 20, Captain Underpants, that's who. And we will stop right here for now. I hope you enjoyed the video. So make sure you smash the subscribe button, smash the like button, smash the notification bell. Check out my Instagram, WorkBrandTV, no capital letters, no spaces. And I'll see you next time. Bye.